Hey, this is Johnny Damon, your favorite caveman from the 2004 World Champion Boston Red Sox. You're listening to Boston's Big Three podcast presented by Ride the Wave Media.
Episode 83, presented by Ride the Wave Media, sponsored by BostonsBig3.com. We just dropped some Hit Stick Harris merch today. If you want to go check that out, he is, I would say, comfortably the best running back that the Patriots have, especially this season. He is a rising star in the backfield. Go get your Hit Stick Harris merch out, BostonBig3.com/shop.
He might be the best running back in the division.
Yeah, I mean,
in the league. Why stop there?
Oh,
Might want to stop there.
Today is Sunday, November 29th, and the Patriots aren't really dead yet, but they're dying very slowly. They're giving us way too much hope that we're going to be like, oh, we could sneak it in if this works out this way, and it's going to end in pain and
it's going to end in heartbreak.
Disappointment. But Cam Newton, Babs, you're very vocal about him and the Stidham thing today. Cam Newton does get the win, technically, but Nick Folk saves the day. We beat the Cardinals. Thoughts on today's game?
Cam Newton played atrocious today. Atrocious. Let me spell that out for you. This is Teacher Babs here. I dressed up. I got the whiteboard behind me because I want to lay facts on Patriots Nation out there. Here's a fact for people out there. Cam Newton is not your quarterback for 2021. He's not your quarterback going forward. He's not that guy. He is not it. He got completely bailed out today. Completely bailed out by the special teams. Nick Folk, Jake Bailey, Moncrief, Gunnery, those guys deserve all the credit. They deserve all the love. Well, Babs, Cam Newton ran down the field and took a hit and got the penalty. I don't care. He had the chance. He had the ball in his hands with 8 minutes to go, and he threw a pick. He is not clutch as people think he is. And yes, you can have bad games. I understand that. But this is what Cam Newton's going to be like going forward. There's no excuses this week for how he played. There's no COVID excuses, no injury excuse. I don't want to hear any of this. I just feel that I personally, and it's not me hating the guy Cam Newton. It's me wanting to just see what Jarrett Stidham has in the last couple of games going forward, because I want to see what we're going to do for 2021. Because guess what? If Stidham truly is not your guy, then yes, we'll take Cam Newton. Because if we have to scrape at the bottom of the barrel, I understand. But you cannot shit on Jarrett Stidham yet, and you can't say anything bad about him until he has a full fucking game. He hasn't been able to do that. If the Patriots keep prolonging this, we might have a chance, it's just pushing back this. And that's fine. It is what it is. I want to have hope, and I hope the Patriots finish 9-7. I want them to finish over 500. Even if Cam scrapes and claws his way there, I just want to see where this team's going forward. Because, guys, if Cam Newton's not your guy, and he should not be your guy, and if Stidham's not your guy, the Pats are screwed at this quarterback position. They're completely screwed, because then you have to go into the draft. You have to grab somebody. You have to wait 2 to 3 years to develop that guy. You have to go find another bridge guy. Is it Jimmy Garoppolo? Are you going to trade for Aaron Rodgers? Do you want Cam Newton to come back? Do you want Alex Smith on this team? It's just you're going to be playing this game. And the Patriots, it's frustrating because the Patriots at 5-6 and the Tampa Bay Bucks just lost their 7-5. The Patriots should have a better record than the Bucks. They've been playing better as a team this year, but that quarterback position is where it's going to really, really fall on. And I just hope the Patriots, Belichick, can figure this out. Because if everything else is working and the quarterback is not working, it's like the ghost of Tom Brady. It's going to hurt them going forward. Cam Newton fucking stinks. He stinks.
I just can't wait for the Babs is racist rumor to come back around again when he's talking about Jarrett Stidham. It is funny, Babs. It is funny because the amount of headspace you rent in other people's heads is unbelievable. You set up shops, apartments, residences, hotels, everything. It's hilarious. We put out the win column here and we post it on your account and we just see clown emojis in the comments and stuff. It's like, why are you taking the time out of your day to go to this guy's account and comment that he must be important to you? And he's important to us as well. But talking about Cam Newton here, yeah, he's not good. He's not good at football. His mechanics are all off. He has rubber shoulder. He can't pass 5 yards within the line of scrimmage. His short accuracy is worse than a Pop Warner quarterback at the age of 9. I love the Jimmy Garoppolo take. I think Jimmy Garoppolo will be the perfect bridge quarterback for the New England Patriots. The draft this year is actually not bad at quarterback, pretty deep. By the way, mock draft coming out on Tuesday as well. Maybe give you a little bit of insight on what the Patriots want to do when it comes to quarterbacking. Not any promises yet, but I think you're 100% right. Cam Newton's not the guy moving forward. We need a bridge guy or a rookie quarterback coming in. But great team win. Great, and I want to emphasize team there. Special teams, defense, offense, it all came together at the very end. Also, shout out to Isaiah Simmons. That bone hit on Cam Newton at the end of the game there saved us, saved our asses. And Nick Folk, you're my MVP.
Nick Folk saved the Patriots' day. Why not just put Nick Folk in at quarterback? He seems to be the leader of this team. He's won 2 games at the buzzer so far when Cam Newton's had the chance to do it twice and come up short both times. But Babs saying not my QB over there. Babs is a Patriots fan. He's up for the Patriots fan of the year, and you kind of have to live with it at this point. Like, Cam Newton's going to be the guy going forward, at least until the end of this season. So Cam Newton is your quarterback.
All right, so hand up. I was wrong about Cam Newton. I wanted him to be good so bad. I could.
You're
We
coming
tried to
over
tell
on
you.
our side now? Are you on
We
this
tried
side?
to tell you.
You on our side? Mean Stafford?
I'm not on your side because I still don't believe in Stidham. However, like I said, I think you put him in because, like we said, this team isn't doing anything. You make the best case scenario where, like, the lowest seed in the playoff, you probably lose first round. This season's probably chalk. Why not put Stidham in? So, like we said, you see if he's the answer or not. You see if we need to evaluate anything. I don't think Cam Newton's coming back. However, I don't think there's a single NFL player that, like, owns up to his mistakes to the media, to, like, publicly on the sideline, like Cam Newton. Like, you can't say he doesn't care. Just because he's not performing well doesn't mean, like, he's trying to throw the game. You can tell he genuinely feels bad. It's not so, like, I don't, like I said, I like Cam Newton still as the guy. Quarterback, I wish we had a couple years ago version Cam Newton, kind of like what I was hoping that we got him. Wasn't the case. All of my football teams this year just have a quarterback that can run, and they can't throw the ball to save their life. So I'm kind of done with that form of a quarterback.
Tyler,
I'm not sure how realistic this is. This is more a question for Joe. Can we get Kyle Trask, or is he going to be gone?
It's a possibility. He's tending toward the end of the first round here. We're probably around 14 or 15 right now in the draft order. We have a shot to get him, a very realistic shot. I just don't think we go quarterback first round. I really don't see us doing that as well. Belichick never wants to do that. We're going to go linebacker or receiver. That's the reality right now for first round, second round.
Speaking of receiver, can we just make fun of N'Keal Harry and stop?
Okay,
bad,
I've said it.
We talked about this a few shows ago. He is a bust. We declared him a bust like a year ago.
And it just makes it worse. I said it on Stafford and Matthews a lot. I said it, I think, 3 or 4 times now. N'Keal Harry, number 32 overall. 3 receivers after him. DK Metcalf, A.J. Brown, and Deebo Samuel. All who balled out today.
I don't even want to listen.
It's just embarrassing. I just want to steal one more Pittsburgh Steelers scout to get one receiver. They get an all-pro every other year in the 5th round. I don't know how they do it. We need to steal one of them.
They got 2 this year, right? Johnson and Claypool. Is Johnson a rookie?
Johnson was drafted last year.
And add insult to injury, Tyreek Hill had more yards today than N'Keal Harry has had all season. He had like 261 yards today, Tyreek Hill, and N'Keal's had like 230 something this season.
I've never seen anybody
did N'Keal Harry
try
beat
to
his
get
son?
the ball. The Patriots try to get him the ball so much, and everybody in that organization wants him to be good except N'Keal Harry.
Yeah,
like, it's frustrating.
Today he had a holding penalty against him today. Then just like another blocking penalty or something like that. A ball right in his hands. He had a catch right in his hands and then dropped it as well
on the
too.
slant.
I'm not off N'Keal Harry just yet. I'll give him one.
Why
more
not?
year.
Why not?
Because you know what? You spent the first rounder on him. It's like everyone wants to throw him down, kick him while he's down, and I like doing that. I love kicking people while they're down. But
that's your entire brand.
With N'Keal Harry, I am going to give him one more year because I think what we saw, the flash with him with Jarrett Stidham, they have something there, and I just want to see those 2 young guys connect. I just feel like Cam Newton is not on the same level with N'Keal Harry. Even though they were practicing in preseason and they had those connections, I still feel like Stidham and N'Keal Harry could do something together.
Yeah, so 2 things. One, N'Keal Harry. I'm not on the cut N'Keal Harry train. That's just so stupid. He's on cheap money. He's a rookie contract still. You have a 5th-year option on him. Might as well write it out, get something out of him. So that was stupid. Don't cut N'Keal Harry. That's stupid. Don't even talk about that. That's stupid. And number 2, I completely forgot what number 2 was. Keep going. I completely forgot number 2 was.
Well, I wish Malcolm Mitchell was still on the Patriots.
I remember now. Muhammad's doing a touchdown on Thanksgiving. That's more than the production he got for the Patriots. He had a 2-point conversion too.
Yeah,
Just saying.
Myers is good. What about
Jacoby.
that blindside block today?
That was
Oh,
so
I
stupid.
almost had to turn my TV off because my 3-year-old daughter said that was the most devastating hit she's ever seen, and why do people even play this sport? And I had to tell her, I'm like, I don't know, it wasn't a blindside block. Ridiculous. Like, I'm not sure what blindside means when it's head on head. Yeah, like, I guess
the man
just
literally
stand there
squared
and don't hit him, just get in his way. But like, is this football? Are we
No.
allowed to hit people still?
I was so confused. Like I thought it was a bad block at first. Like I wasn't initially like just tuned in, zoned in initially watching that play. I just kind of thought like, remember a few years back, you think of the Michael Floyd block for Julian
Yeah.
Edelman. That's the one I really think about. And now coming back to here, you see who was the guy? What's his name?
Anthony
Simmons?
Jennings.
Anthony
Oh,
Jennings
Jennings.
literally gets his feet square like he was playing basketball, lowers his shoulder, gets prepared to take the hit because he wasn't laying the hit. He was receiving the hits because he had stopped on a dime to get in the way, set a screen for Gunner to get down into the end zone.
No, this is the pussification of football. That's literally what it is. The pussification of football. That's a normal block. And the thing is,
It wasn't helmet to helmet.
It wasn't helmet to helmet at all. Dean Blandino, the head ref analyst or whatever the hell it was talking on the radio broadcast. And like, yeah, it's technically a penalty. And the guys on the announcer was just like, hey, he's gonna get hurt if he doesn't lay that block. If he doesn't lay that block, he gets knocked out himself. So doesn't he have a responsibility to himself to not hurt himself? And Dean had no answer for him. It's like, it's football. It's a man's sport. It's a contact. Let it happen. I don't understand why you would
That's
even
how Ray Lewis
penalize
got
that.
into the Hall of Fame.
Literally, Bernard Pollard, guys like that. It's dying off. It's embarrassing.
The Patriots still had a chance, though, to go down the field and score.
Yeah, they didn't score.
And get 7 points or 6 points, technically.
Had to settle
And
for
they
a field
did.
goal.
They had to settle for a field goal because Cam Newton, who people are going to say, well, he has no wide receivers. Doesn't matter. You're practicing with these guys week in and week out. You should know their flaws, their strengths, whatever it is. Terrible third and goal. Like just a terrible throw. And it's like you're 3 or 4 yards out. And he finally was using James White right this week. Just a little toss back. But then I noticed towards the end of the game, you're putting your hand in the cookie jar too much, tossing the ball backwards. So like on that, I think it was on just like in the last 8 minutes. Why are you not just fucking running it down their throats? Why are we tossing it backwards and trying to go back 5 yards to go up 1 yard? Why aren't you just running it straight ahead? Go ahead.
Professor Babs, I have a question. Can we fire Josh McDaniels already? I'm officially on the fire me Josh McDaniels train.
Whoa!
I don't want him here. Look at Houston last week. That's the most winnable game of all time against one of the worst run defense in the NFL. And you're on Damian Harris, a guy who has 400-yard rushing games on the year 11 times. Only 11 times. You passed Cam Newton 40 times last week. You barely scraped it up this week. You only scored 20 points. Josh McDaniels is the worst offensive coordinator ever.
Why?
It's 3rd and 28. HB draw, HB screen. It's so predictable. It's nonsense.
Joe, why is Cam Newton not using his tenure in the NFL? He's a 10-year veteran. He's an MVP. Why is he not going out there and saying, let me call play? Why is Cam Newton not running plays out there on his own? Why is Cam Newton not picking something up and saying, no, I see it this way?
I'll tell you, well, that's part of it, Tyler, but I'll tell you why. They don't trust his intelligence. That's the number one thing. In Carolina, the system's a lot more dumbed down than it is New England. New England historically is one of the most complicated offensive systems in the NFL. McDaniels and Belichick have both been oddly positive when talking about Newton's intelligence and ability to like grasp the game at the next level. That's suspicious. They rip Brady all the time for that in practice and meetings and everything. It's almost like they're trying to boost Cam Newton's ego and his confidence almost. It's like he's like Pop Warner kid. It's like he's a professional football player. He either gets it or he doesn't. That's the bottom line for me.
It's crazy to see even McDaniels when they won the game how like jolly and excited he was when he saw Cam Newton hugging him like they just fucking won a conference championship. It's like if you could see the video, and that's what Cam said, like, hey, it's on me or whatever it is. I fucked up, but I mean, McDaniels is just, he does need to go. And I hope that he gets lured out with one of these head coaching jobs that opens up in 2021. And they say, see you later.
Yeah, the thing is, you mentioned like the celebration. The bar is so low for celebrating now. It's so low.
It's bad.
A play that I wanted to talk about that I don't think is going to get enough shine, or I don't think it has yet. Right before halftime, Cardinals ball on the 1. They're about to punch it in right before half. And it was Landon Roberts, correct? Or Simmons, one of the two. Stuffed him at the line. Clock runs out, and that ultimately is a game-saving play because we only won by a field goal. That reminded me of like the Dante Hightower play in the Super Bowl against the Seahawks. Shout out Chris Matthews, remember that game? And then he stuffed him. And like people were hyped at the time, but like I knew as soon as I saw that play, I'm like, that's gonna be the game deciding play, whether we win or not. Like that's gonna be huge, and like the announcers just didn't make a huge deal out of it. As a Patriots fan and as I don't know, just a football fan, I was like,
That was huge. Yeah.
That was the first time. I wouldn't say the first time that like our defense has really, really stepped up, but like that was a look yourself in the mirror moment.
Yeah.
That, like we actually did well.
It kind of reminded me a little bit about the Denver game because there were so many times where Denver would get down,
couldn't get a
like
start,
in that red zone. Like we've talked about it, like Denver should have been up like 40-0 at some point in that game, and it shows that the red zone defense and even goal line defense is looking good for the Patriots for what they have this season, based on the opt-outs that they've had, and some of the rookies that they're playing as well too. So it's definitely a highlight because the defense, I still will go to bat for them. People will say this defense sucks. This defense isn't good. It feels like the bend don't break, where it's just like you're going to get a ton of yards on this team until you get towards that red zone and or into the goal line and you get stopped. But I hope that's something in the offseason that Bill can address and fix, and I think they will. Whether they add new players, whether you have a returning player or two, it will definitely get addressed.
One thing I want to touch on before we wrap up this Patriots game is how atrocious Cam Newton's stat line was. If you look at the numbers, oddly enough, Cam Newton's QBR today was, let's see, it was 6.7. 6.7. What's that?
No, it's 23.6.
Not according to my stat sheet right here.
It was 23.6.
It's still low.
QBR.
Still low.
That looks like a comma.
You know what the best part about that is that wasn't even the worst QBR in the league today, because the Denver Broncos had a position player starting at quarterback.
Kendall. My guy Kendall.
He goose-egged.
He didn't get one completion, right?
Completed one pass, but two of them went to the other team. So it's three completions, but it's not the kind of stats you're looking for. If negative QBR was a thing, he's probably got like a 100 QBR for the other team.
Brandon, it's funny to talk about, but respect where respect is due. Through all four quarterbacks, including a practice squad quarterback, go on the COVID-19 list. And this kid gets the call the day before the game with no experience at all. It's like, hey, you're starting a quarterback. At that point. Come on. Like, if you complete anything, that's a win.
The Denver Broncos on Twitter after the game were like, a game was played today. It happened. But let's give respect to this guy because he went out there with like no reps, no practice, and he actually threw a pass.
No, did you guys see they tried to get their offensive quality control coach to play quarterback today?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was so he played quarterback for UCF like 8 years ago, 10 years ago.
He probably knows how to play the position more than a wide receiver would.
True.
Going back, Brendan, to the QBR, Tony Maserati put it out that this was the lowest or the second lowest for a quarterback that won a game. The last one was Mark Sanchez in 2012, so he either had this or lower than this as a QBR rating. It actually reminded me of Tom Brady last year. His QBR was like 43.7 when they played the Buffalo Bills week 4. He was atrocious that game as well. But the difference is that Brady made a couple more passes, and I think he had like 150 yards that game too. So my thing is this, and I said this going into the game. I was hyping up Cam Newton. He has yet to have a multi-touchdown game throwing the ball. I don't care about running. I don't give a shit about these people saying, well, Cam Newton has a total of like 8 touchdowns on the season. I don't care because a lot of those runs could be Sony Michel, James White, Damian Harris, Rex Burkhead, Jacob Johnson. Anybody could run it in like that. I understand Cam's ability to like go on 4th and 1 and go over the line. Or the same thing on a goal line. I understand him QB sneaking it. I completely get that. But just because Cam Newton runs in the ball doesn't make him a better quarterback. He's a running back. He's just essentially a running back. That's all Cam Newton is. And we've seen this. It doesn't work in this league. It's very far and few between that it works. Name a running back quarterback that's won a Super Bowl. And Pat Mahomes is not one. Pat Mahomes can make plays with his legs, but he's not a true running back the way Cam Newton plays. And same thing with like a Russell Wilson. He's a guy that can run but can throw the ball. He's not a guy that's just a strict running back. And that's what Cam Newton is.
Russell Wilson did it.
But Russell Wilson's not a running back. Russell Wilson's not a running back. That's
fair.
what Cam Newton's game is. It's literally a straight run game. It's like Lamar Jackson out here. Like, you're looking at Lamar Jackson.
Cam Newton got a possession away.
All right, let's talk about Dante Hightower.
Does Steve Young count?
Steve Young.
Did he win a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
All right, anyway, Dante Hightower apparently going to retire according to Babs and his sources. You went a little mini viral. I'm not sure if mini viral. When I saw it was going mini viral, but you got articles written about you. You got some credit, some respect. Maybe it's fine to be putting on your name. There are people trying to expose you in the comments, but you're the receipts. You had everything. And I don't think you've been wrong lately, minus the whole situation with the jerseys and Tiggy like a year and a half ago that people still hold over your head. But Hightower, give us the rundown.
Okay, so first of all, I admit when I'm wrong. Like, it's not like I'm a journalist. I'm not out here working for Nesson. I'm not out here working for NBC Sports Boston, even though it looks like I am right now, because this is what they are, shirt and tie guys. I hear things. I hear things just like GRD hears things. Like, he did the Jaylen Brown contract. Everyone shit on him. Guess what happened 2 days later? Jaylen Brown ended up signing a contract over $100 million. He called it. He hears things as well, too. When it comes down to the Dante Hightower situation, back in February, I was told, by a source, and people who go out there, what's your source? Name your source. You don't name sources. It's like Adam Schefter, when he puts something out there, he's not telling you who his source is. It doesn't work like that.
He is the source.
But he knows. So Babs is the source. Spike Kings, Fiona and Sophia the sources. So back in February, Dante Hightower, what I was told, direct quote from Dante Hightower was, he's lost the love of the game for football. Now, you're coming off of a loss in 2019, so I can understand that. Fast forward, I was told that he wanted to finish out his contract in 2020 and was planning on retiring in 2021. Dante Hightower scheduled to make $12.4 million. The dead cap is $2.5 million. And the Patriots will not cut him. They're not going to do anything. Like, they'll pay him. He deserves it. He deserves that little extra money, right? Whatever it is. He had his kid in July. And then once he had his kid, he said, I don't think I'm coming back to football. He ended up opting out. He gets a paycheck for doing that this year. It pushes back his retirement. It pushes back how he has to get eventually paid out. But from what I've been poking at for the last couple of months is that this guy legitimately does not want to come back. He doesn't want to come back because of the extra work effort that he has to put into the game, into his position to even make that comeback for 1 year. Is it worth for him to come back 1 year, that's what his contract is, to come back for 1 year to bust his ass when he has a family at home now that he's trying to build up? He doesn't have anything left to prove. He's a 3-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time national champion as well. He's going to be a Patriots Hall of Famer. His name will be medaled around in the Pro Football Hall of Fame to make it there. But I've been sitting on the Hightower news. The Hightower news came with the Marcus Cannon news. I just released the Marcus Cannon news first. And Marcus Cannon would have retired this year if COVID never existed. But guess what? It gets pushed back. He's going to retire next year. So I waited because the Pats were 4-6 at the time. And I said, it was a Tuesday, and I said, you know what? Like, we need to start focusing on 2021. We need to start focusing on the draft coming up in free agency and cap space. So Babs put it out there. And I know people will say, you don't know anything. I've released news to fucking Jim Murray. I've released it to Fitzy. And guess what? They both were right. And that's why Jerry Thornton at Barstool Sports wrote an article and put my tweet out there and did say, it's a rumor. It's not official, but this guy's got some credibility behind him. Just like the Jersey Gate situation, guess what? We hear something, we're going to throw it out there. We got it wrong. Is Adam Schefter, is Ian Rappaport, are those guys always 100% right? Absolutely not. Didn't one of those clowns say that Antonio Brown was going to Buffalo at one point, and that never happened? Everyone lost their mind for a day? And these things happen. You just kind of report what you hear. I will say this. In terms of the Hightower thing, it's not shocking if he leaves. People know that. It's the end of the road for him. Yeah, he's kind of young. He's 30 years old. You still feel that he would be a big part for the Patriots in terms of they need that extra help. They need that linebacker. But when you're away for a game in that position for a year, is it truly, truly worth it? Like a Rob Gronkowski, he took the time off. He dicked around. He did it on purpose. But Rob Gronkowski doesn't have a kid at home or anything like that. He's just got his girlfriend, Camille. Like, he still wants money. Hightower is somebody that could become a coach. Hightower is someone that can grab some endorsements. He could become an analyst. He could work for NBC Sports. He could work for ESPN for all I know. Like, that's something that Hightower is probably thinking about for his future and for his health. I will say this to wrap it up. No one wants to touch this because if you are a beat reporter and you work for a certain company, you'll probably get fired for releasing this information too early. And just to let you know, no one denied the report. Usually a Mike Reese, a Mike Chiardi, a Doug Kyde, one of these guys is going to be out there and be like, no, I've talked to Hightower and that's false. No one said that. And Hightower himself didn't even say anything either. So it's out there. My name's on it. And I know it's going to become right. And then when months go by, no one's going to give a shit. And I'm still probably not going to get credit for it. But it's out there. And that's it. I mean, he's done.
Amen.
Well, it was fun.
Yeah.
Super Bowl 51. Super Bowl 51 doesn't happen without him.
Yeah.
I mean, Hightower's probably out of there. Like we said, it's not really that much of a surprise, especially with Corona, because next football season, like, it's going to be different, too. Like, as much as people want Corona to go away, people are going to forget. College basketball is going to be coming back around, and they lost in March Madness. Are they going to lose another tournament? No. That's another crazy dent, so you never know what this vaccine and stuff like that. I don't know. It's going to be weird for a long time. There's no reason for Hightower to keep going. He already had a good career. Any final football thoughts on the day?
If you look, just on the Hightower thing, if you look back on Hightower when he opted out and he posted this on his Instagram, and it was about like, oh, thank you so much to Patriots Nation and what's going on in our world. If you just read it back now, it's a retirement post, just like Brady, where he thanked Patriots fans for all the years and support, and people still held out hope at the time he was coming back. No, he's gone. So it's these guys play certain ways for the PR. Like Hightower can't come out tomorrow and be like, yeah, I'm going to retire, because it's going to fuck up his money. It's going to fuck up how he's going to get paid. He has to wait for certain paperwork to get pushed through. He's got to wait at certain times. But I will say this, that you're clearing about $10 million in cap space, and then all of a sudden you got fucking Mark Bertrand shitting on me. What's the difference between 61 and 72 million? You know what the difference is? You're probably going to sign Joe Tooney now with that money. You're probably going to take J.C. Jackson, who's a restricted free agent, and just say, hey, bud, here's your extension. We're going to pay you now. That money can be used for one of those two players that you want to secure.
All right. I'm sure Mark Bertrand's like a nice guy and everything, but does he know, like, just the hilarity part of him, like, chirping all these supreme athletes, these superstars, super built, and this guy probably never played football. Like, never played sport. That's the thing I hate. Like,
he's got Zolak to back him.
Like, I respect the athletes that are bad at commentating, because at least they know what they're talking about. At least they have, like, some general grip. Mark Bertrand's good. I like it. But, like, you know, just, like, you have to... Everyone knows what I'm trying to say.
You're dancing. You're dancing around it, Tyler. What do you mean? What do you mean? You're dancing around it.
Just say not the athletic build to be judging someone. Just say that.
He's on a Wicked 180, so I'm just letting you know. He's getting down there.
He could have been an offensive lineman.
Maybe.
Pretty good guy.
All right. Any Mahomes beat Brady again? Thoughts? All right. So I have my friend. He's a super big Mahomes guy. Like super big Mahomes guy. His favorite college is Texas Tech, so he just became like Mahomes' boyfriend.
Gross.
And he has this take, and he says it every single week that Mahomes is going to be substantially better than Brady by the time his career is up and over with. Now, there's not a lot of proof to say that he'll be wrong. At least right now, he's doing stuff that Brady wasn't doing at this age at all. And there's going to be a lot more years of Mahomes left in the NFL. But yeah, he's good. You're a moron if you don't think that he's obviously going to be one of the greatest of all time by the time it's said and done. But beating a 40-something-year-old Brady at this point, as much as it's an accomplishment on like a resume or a stat pattern, at the end of the day, it's like the Chiefs were supposed to win this game.
Well, at the end of the day, Tom Brady's still undefeated against Pat Mahomes in the playoffs.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true. Funny thing about that.
People forget.
Funny thing about that too, though. Tom Brady has almost fought in Chris Jones now 2 games in a row. Last season, Pat's Chiefs, they got in each other's faces. Today, they almost went to blows. They were drawing each other's mouths. They touched face masks a couple times, touched helmets a few times before their teammates separated them and everything. But interesting dynamic there. Tom Brady, 43 years old, and Chris Jones of all people. Just funny to talk about.
Maybe Chris Jones looks like his son.
Chris Jones is 6'5" and 300 pounds.
Speaking of Brady,
not the same race.
Brady is not washed. Brady's not bad. I heard a great conspiracy theory last week that Brady's been doing bad in these primetime games because his age is actually creeping up to him. Brady goes to bed at 8:30 p.m. So I actually like that. I think that there's some validity there. But the fact is that the Buccaneers are 7-5, and the team that you have around you, you guys should be way better than that. And the fact is that the Saints have they're on Taysom Hill right now. Jameis Winston. They don't even have Breeze, and they're far ahead of you in that division. I just think the Bucs should be doing better, and I think that they're going into a bye week, so that's good. Perfect time for a bye week. They should be able to finish out the season 11-5. But I think that team's ready to implode or something.
Yeah,
at some
because
point.
Bruce
They have another
Arians
loss
loves
the
making fun of Tom Brady.
I hate Bruce Arians. I don't understand that.
That's what I'm saying. Why is he not getting blamed for all this? Because
he's
gets
terrible.
He gets ahead of it and says it's Brady's fault every week, which I don't hate. Push it on to someone else. That's phenomenal. But Brady didn't let up 3 touchdowns to Tyreek Hill. Brady didn't let up 200 yards first. He's only playing quarterback. Yeah, he can't throw a deep ball anymore. Yeah, he's missed open throws. But he's playing 50% of the game. The other 50%, you gotta get a stop on defense.
Joe Stafford.
What's up?
What's a better team? The 2019 Patriots or the 2020 Buccaneers?
That's a great question.
Because Tom Brady went 12-4 with that team last year, and they already has one more loss.
You know how funny it would be if neither team.
Okay, so let me put it this way. If Tom Brady had as many years experience with the Bucs, I'd go with the Bucs. But he doesn't, so I'm going with the Patriots. With the Patriots, the Patriots wouldn't have gotten smacked twice by the Saints in the regular season with a roster like that. That's all I'm going to say. That's my main argument.
It would have beat him at the buzzer. The same day David Ortiz hits a grand slam.
Exactly. I'm with you 100%. But yeah, I think the Patriots there. Bruce Arians is an asshat. He wears that cankle hat like he's an idiot around there. Blames everyone but himself, which is the biggest problem. This team's flipping on him. It's very slow, but it's happening as we speak. They're not on Bruce Arians' side anymore. He's going to get fired this offseason. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, it's kind of like a LeBron James move. Brady's going to go in there and be like, I worked with him for a year. Don't want him. I'm going to bring in my own coach.
Coach killer.
The team. Hey, Josh McDaniels. Whoa, wait a minute. Josh McDaniels leaves the New England Patriots and becomes the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
No, I kind of like that.
I'd be heartbroken.
I kind of like that.
I would see that happening.
Did you have that locked and loaded, or you just come up with that on the spot?
I just came up with it because I think
what did you say?
I like that.
They want Josh McDaniels to leave the Patriots and become the next head coach of the Tampa Bay Bucs.
Bruce Arians gets fired this offseason. Brady wants him out. There's an open spot, and the only person he's going to trust is the guy that he's been around with most of his years, and that's Josh McDaniels. He's going to let Brady do what he wants to do in offense, and he figures that Josh McDaniels can bring personnel in to help.
What about Matt Patricia?
What about Bill O'Brien? What about Bill O'Brien?
A few former defensive-minded Patriots coaches coming back to help Tom Brady and that Tampa Bay defense.
We're on to something here. We are. It's not even a lie. This is something that the stars are going to align. That's why Edelman's going to opt out and go down to Tampa and sign a $1 million contract. They're going to get everybody back together. What are you doing? Come over here.
If you don't think that Edelman's going to Tampa, I think that's
100% going down there. 100%. I will say this. I think Edelman does come back next week. I think he's finally, because of the spot they're in at 5 and 6, I think he has to come back. He at least has to go in there.
Who do they play next week?
The Chargers.
Chargers
in LA.
That should be
football. Another football thought. I'm off the Raiders bandwagon. They stink. They look
43-6.
You're a year and a half late, Babs.
Decade late.
But that's a team that's going to fall apart. That helps out the Patriots if you can win out. It helps out the Patriots to sneak into a 7th seed. The same thing with Miami. I think Miami has a kind of a tough schedule in the last 4 games. That's another team. That Buffalo-Miami game, Week 17, is going to literally decide whether Miami gets into the playoffs or not. And Buffalo could already have the division locked up by then, where they might even throw that game on purpose and screw the Patriots over for not making it. So these things, they're interesting. 5 more weeks to go.
I hate it. I hate football.
All right, can we talk basketball now? Because the Celtics are making moves. And
finally,
as many people who are telling the entire world, yelling at the cloud, saying Ainge should be fired for this Hayward thing. All right, let's look at it this way. Hayward should have been off the books for one reason. It is Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum's time to lead this team. They don't need to share touches anymore.
And Kemba.
And we get rid of Hayward. Now, Was it the most organized, ideal way to get him up out of there? No. He officially signed today. However, we have the biggest trade conversation in the league's history, about 30 mil. That's unheard of. What can trade conversation do? Basically, you can trade salaries. Say, this is a theory I've been seeing going around. If we trade for Bradley Beal, and he has like a $30 million contract, but if we trade and that trade pushes us over, like the contracts don't need to match because we have 30 mil that we can just put into that to match it.
Oh.
I'm not saying a star is going to be coming. I don't think Bradley Beal is coming. I don't think anyone significant is coming. If I were, there's a handful of people I'd go after. I'd go after Trevor Ariza. I would go after Lou Williams. I would go after JJ Redick. I would go after Miles Turner if you can. I would stay away from Andre Drummond. That's a name that's going around. And then, like, there's no reason to get a star. The Celtics get Jeff Teague and Tristan Thompson, which is, I think, two phenomenal signings.
Both upgrades.
Exactly. They're not the biggest names. And people who just started watching the Celtics this year are like, oh, like, are you kidding me? We could have got Hassan Whiteside. Hassan Whiteside is horrendous. Hassan Whiteside is brutal. We don't need him. Tristan Thompson, he's an upgrade from Cantor. Cantor was offensive rebounds and zero defense and a lot of missed layups. Tristan Thompson, all he does is rebound. Like, we don't need him to get putbacks, although he is good at that. He's just an animal underneath the boards, and that's exactly what we needed, especially with Rob Will, especially with Tice, Grant Williams coming, and then Jeff Teague. With Kemba Walker, most likely not going to start the season out. Or if he does, he's probably going to be eased in significantly with time management because we saw what happened last year. Brad Wanamaker up out of there. Jeff Teague, he's way more of a veteran presence in the NBA in that terms. He's been on those Atlanta Hawks teams in the playoffs. He's been on the Timberwolves teams playing with young talent that didn't really get anywhere. So he has every single bit and piece of NBA experience that you could really ask for. He's going to be good. He'll help Tremont Waters, which is going to be one of the newest backup point guards. And then we get Naismith and Pritchard in the draft, who seem to be the only two rookies that are going to see some times. Taco Falls back. Jason Tatum signs a 5-year, $195 million contract extension that doesn't kick in until after next season. So we have 6 more years of Jason Tatum. I believe 3 more years of Jaylen Brown, 2 more years of Smart, 3 more years of Kemba. This is the window. Like, if you don't win one in this window, then this whole thing was a failed experiment. This is why, like, this past season, I wasn't calling it failed. Yeah, that's what Scal said.
Scal?
But yeah, that's my thoughts. I think this is a good offseason.
Tyler, I got a question for you. Are you worried about the Kardashian curse?
I am.
No, because Tristan Thompson looked at the Kardashian curse and said, I'm going to go cheat on it myself. So the Kardashian curse is going to Tristan Thompson and Tristan Thompson only. He's cheated on Khloe multiple times.
Oh!
The curse, he's going into the eye of the storm multiple
times.
So however,
he cheated on the Kardashian curse and then he won a championship. Is that how it works?
Something like that. But either way,
I need to cheer for him to do it again.
But the Kim Kardashian, whatever their line is called, that's gonna be up in New England. Like you saw when he signed Kim Kardashian's like, can't wait to see you, boss. And you're about to see the Kim K line be up in New England. They're about to set up shop here. I like Tristan Thompson. Good signing. I think it's an overall successful offseason. But we said, Brandon, you kept saying a move is coming. A move is coming. The move finally hit today. This is the roster going forward. Maybe add one more person. Well, you are going to add one more person.
So I agree with you, Tyler. I think it was a great offseason. I think that Tristan Thompson signing especially was a great value deal. Only $19 million over 2 years. That's a great deal for me in my mind. One thing I do want to bring up, though, is Gordon Hayward. Obviously, he signs the offer sheet with the Hornets. We end up actually trading him for a second-round pick and some extra trade exception stuff. But I was in New Hampshire when this broke. There was a rumor going around, I think it was confirmed by a lot of people on Celtics Twitter, that Gordon Hayward's being shopped around specifically to Indiana, and Danny Ainge got greedy. He wanted not only Miles Turner, but also Victor Oladipo.
And TJ. Well, I think this is what happened. There was a plan to go to Indy, and what it seems like, I read a couple articles and stuff about it. It seems as if the plan was to go Indiana, and last second Michael Jordan called up Gordon Hayward and offered him way more money than Indy was going to give him. No way that Indy was going to give him $30 million. That's absurd. Like, Michael Jordan has burnt $30 million a year.
I can't believe he signed for that much money. When I saw that, I was like, that's unbelievable. For the amount that he's played in Boston, he is not worth that whatsoever.
I am happy for him though, because in Boston, like he was never really his true format. At the time when he came back from the leg injury, he was at his best. He was the 2 option, and really he was only the second option on that team for 5 minutes into that season, until the injury happened. And when he came back, it was Jason Tatum's team by then. It was Kyrie's team by then. But now I am excited to see him go down to Charlotte, team up again with Terry Rozier, LaMelo Ball down there, some of the young talent they got developing down in Charlotte, and Gordon Hayward can become that second, third option again, and he should thrive down there. I do agree with you guys. That is a ton of money to be giving a guy who was only averaging 12 points a game for the last like month of the season. But you're just hoping he can get back to that former Utah self that the Celtics paid him to be, and they never really got the chance to see it. So I am excited to see what that Charlotte team does. I think at their peak, if they're firing on all cylinders, they're an 8 seed at best, especially with all the young talent. But I'm happy for Gordon. I'm sad to see him go, but he was a very likable guy. I enjoyed his time here in Boston. Saw him give like the Thanksgiving speech beforehand, and it was a fun time. Like he hit some crazy shots too, some very important ones. I remember. I think my favorite one was he had a barely buzzer beater against the Kings.
Yeah,
it was like
on that West Coast trip.
Yeah, it was like a
when
1
they
foot mid
figured it
ranger.
out.
But it was exciting. So shout out, thank you, everything to Gordon Hayward.
Another team that had a very good offseason that we'd have to talk about, Sixers. Sixers did well. They got off that
Horford aggressive.
They got Danny Green. They got Doc Rivers now. They have Seth Curry, Dwight Howard. They got off at Horford, which is what they needed. They would have traded him for a bag of sand just so they don't have to pay him $30 million for the next 2 years. Yeah. Now, Harris, this could be a year that he improves simply because there's more spacing. However, I'm still not worried about Philadelphia. You have your star players, the ones that you were going to build around, neither of them can shoot the ball. That's not going to work. If your 1 and 2 can't shoot the basketball. Now they have like good role players. This is the first roster in a long time that I think Philly has that's more complete overall.
Got depth now, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not worried, but you have to respect they did well this offseason. They had a good draft too. That they made good picks. It'll be interesting. We face them December 15th in the preseason. And if they win, the banner is already being thread, so that'll be up in the rafters in Wells Fargo Center in a month. I'm excited for the season, dude. It feels like the bubble just ended yesterday, but football season is going to be coming to an end soon.
College basketball's back. NBA's on its way back.
Basketball season, best time of year is back.
The best. And people are finally realizing how boring it is when football is the only sport on.
Are you kidding me right now?
It's terrible. It's terrible, Joe.
No, it's just
Brandon,
1 day a week.
All right, your favorite sport's notorious for being the worst time of year for any sport.
I'll bring up the statistics.
It's called
got the most
notorious
time of all
as
the
in
sports.
the dog
Football
days of
is so
sports. As soon as football ends, you have the worst stretch in human history when it comes to sports.
Yeah, but for the
when it's hockey, basketball, and baseball, there's nothing like it.
Okay, let me restructure here. When it's just baseball, it is the worst time of year on the sports calendar.
It's called the dog days of summer.
Worst time of year. The worst time of year.
Well, we got sports on every day. What am I going to do tomorrow or the next day? What am I going to do on Tuesday and Wednesday this week? I've got nothing to watch.
We should work.
TV.
Steelers and Ravens on Tuesday. I give a lot of credit to Danny Ainge because it's just I don't want to give too much credit because the Celtics.
I want to give them all the credit. No credit at all.
Wait a minute. I already said it. No. It's just that everyone else was making moves. And you're just sitting there. You went to the draft night. All right, let's make a move. Let's go. And you just go take the pick. You take the next pick. You trade.
Yeah.
It's just it feels like the Celtics are not doing anything. But over the last week, I mean, they're putting something together. The fact that they signed Tatum and they got him signed is so huge.
Mm-hmm.
Because now that's the way you're going to lure possible free agents that are going to come to Boston and want to play with Tatum because he's only going to get better from here.
Yeah, I was gonna say Tatum's already so good.
He hasn't reached his ceiling yet.
I don't think people realize
he hasn't reached his. Jason Tatum will be an MVP within the next 5 years. Within this contract, he will be an MVP. That's the Babs hot take. And I don't think it's a hot take.
He's about to be Kevin Durant.
I think the way the league's going, I think he has a legitimate shot to do it. And I'm glad that this might be the first time since probably Paul Pierce. I know that they got Jaylen Brown to an extension, but like that a major player, a major name signed an extension. That's the first time in a long time we've seen that.
I will disagree with you that he will win an MVP in Boston simply because of all the talent that is around the league and how much talent is on the Celtics roster initially. I will say he could possibly win a Finals MVP if that was a chance for him. If he's the most productive player, he's going to get that Finals MVP. I don't see any other guys on the team doing that.
I think that if he's at the point where he's hot and he's going, you give him the ball, let him run. Just let him do his thing. I think we might end up seeing something like that. I don't want to play this whole minute restrictions. I don't want to, dick around with any of that. Let the kid play. You have him locked in. But I think the big thing is luring possible free agents, keeping that winning culture. I mean, it's finals or bust. They still have to get to the finals, but the fact is everybody else in your conference, in the Eastern Conference, was making moves. You were kind of sitting there and you locked it in. I thought it was funny that they announced the Jason Tatum contract that right after the Patriots lost last week. I thought that was funny. I thought it was a way that Danny Ainge and the Celtics thought as a strategic way to say they already had it, written. It's already set in stone. When should we release the news? Let's do it right after when Patriots fans have been kicked down and out and they're 4-6. Be like, hey guys, by the way, the Celtics season starts next month, and we just
that's like the opposite of what the Red Sox do though. The Red Sox bring bad news at like the less than ideal time. It's like about to be Patriots kickoff. I'm like, hey, by the way, we fired Alex Cora.
They never fired. They never fired him. I told this to you guys a year and a half ago. They never fired Alex Cora.
He was in a timeout.
Exactly.
He got sent to Puerto Rico for a year.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's just in a timeout.
But Tyler, how looking at Bab's screen here, you can see the little banner back there. How are you feeling about the Celtics New Jerseys?
Horrible.
Come on, bro. Those are not good.
They're good. They're really
I
good.
think they're clean because
they're clean.
They did something. At least they stuck to brand. The Celtics never have had the flashiest jersey. It's been clean, it's been simple, and it works. Like I think they have very good jerseys. What they have,
but they're boring as all hell.
That's what I'm saying. I want a little something.
Because
cool.
you look around the league and you see ones like Phoenix or Golden.
However, the cooler the jersey, the worse the team is looking like.
When you're watching the game, are you like just when they're going back and forth, running around, you're like, oh, look at all those
look at those threads,
details on the jerseys. You're not gonna care. I think that when they play, I love the logo on the shorts. I like that it has that banner aspect to it. I think they're gonna look good in it. And you know what? Sometimes it's about the jerseys and how you play in them. So I'm hoping that if they play in those jerseys, they play like a championship team. It could end up being one of those things that anytime they put that jersey on, they're going to win by 15 points or 20 points.
Just bring back the St. Patrick's Day in 2011. Those jerseys. Bring those back.
It's like the NBA is the most, I don't know, progressive, not like I don't know if that's the right word, but they're the league that's like so connected with their fans on social media. Why? If I was like the Kings or another terrible team, for example, I would, just to get like my fan base more interested in the season, have like a jersey submission contest. Like have all these people design these jerseys and then you pick a handful and you vote them on them and stuff like that. It'd be pretty cool. Like, like random Joe Schmo from Sacramento designed the jerseys and they won. Like that's a cool experience. There's no reason for all these old like other people to make these trash uniforms.
A team did that. The Nets did. They had a 4-year-old in the kindergarten class next door.
Oh, I remember. I remember seeing that.
Yeah, horrible. Probably the worst jersey I've ever seen in my life.
It looks like a 10-year-old.
Tyler, you gotta be kidding
Virgil
me.
designed it.
You gotta be kidding me, Tyler. You like them?
I think they're better than the Celtics ones. Those are cool.
We're talking about the one that's got like it looks like crayon.
My 6-year-old cousin designed a better one in her class tomorrow.
I'm talking about the blue ones with the red lettering.
No, not that one.
The black ones that have like the crayon design.
They look like Virgil, a 10-year-old Virgil designed. Those ones.
I think Crayola made that.
Yeah.
I have a question. What's James Harden's situation right now?
He's going to Brooklyn.
Is it official?
No, he's going to start the year out in
That's what I've been saying.
Houston, I bet, because there's no way you move him, especially now, unless right before the season. I think they see what happens in the All-Star break, and then I have a theory that I'm calling now. Bradley Beal is going to be off the Wizards, and that's going to be Russell Westbrook. Like that's how that's going to go. Whether Bradley Beal goes to there, if the third team is involved, who knows? But Russell Westbrook is going to go to the Wizards.
You going to have 2 point guards?
I don't think John Wall stays. I think the Wizards about to blow it up because as good as John Wall was, he hasn't played basketball in about 2 years. So we have to wait that out and see what happens. Beal, he's going to keep wasting his talents, his prime of his career. Now, the fun part is he's Jason Tatum's best friend. They've known each other since St. Louis. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Ship him up to Boston. And then I think Harden, I think it's almost written in stone that he's going to go to Brooklyn. Like, he's friends with KD. I'm not sure anything about Kyrie.
But you said by the All-Star
break. If anything,
this
helps Kyrie because he's now the third in charge, and nobody's going to really blame him.
What if Brooklyn's not a good team by the trade deadline? Does he even want to go there?
They're gonna be a good team.
I mean, either way,
KD's back.
Do you want to go play with KD and Kyrie, or you want to go?
You don't want to go play with KD and Kyrie.
Shot,
you want to go play with KD.
Batteries and hit you with socks filled with rocks in them. Like, I wouldn't want to play in Philly if I was a professional athlete in any sport. There, I said it.
Yeah, I feel like you didn't have to say that. I think all four of us agree with you there.
I have a question. Tampa Raptors. I want to know.
We're the South.
I want to know that the Raptors are not moving to Tampa full time. They'll be back in Toronto when they can play back in Toronto. Does this possibly open up for an expansion in the NBA for not just Tampa, but possibly Seattle or Vegas to add two more teams into the NBA? This could be a good way to bring two teams now.
Oh. You can't bring in an odd number of teams.
No, right. So you go up to 34.
You get an East, one in the East, one in the West, or move Memphis to the East.
There's 4 landing spots, and you already named 3 of them: Vegas, Tampa, and Seattle, obviously. However, the Midwest doesn't have a lot of NBA teams. You throw Louisville, you throw Kansas City, you throw anywhere like Missouri.
Louisville.
Kansas City actually is a smart play for Patrick Mahomes, who already invested in the Kansas City Royals. To invest and to put money into the basketball team there would be very smart too.
I think that it's more college basketball country out there, obviously, but a lot of people care about basketball over there. If you want to start making money off of a small market and you really want to metropolize your area, if that's even a word, I think that's what I meant to say. Yeah. You put that team there. And there's going to be support. There's going to be people. And you already see, Coach Cal, his thing is, I get Kentucky players drafted. Now, imagine if it's I get Kentucky players drafted to Kentucky teams. You already keep that fan base. That's why, I don't really have a college basketball team. I like watching Kentucky a lot, simply because I like following those players' careers. If I was, a die-hard, bleed blue, big blue nation guy, I would love to have them. Maybe not in Louisville because that's your rival, but that's the marketable city in that area.
So why is there not an NFL team in Alabama?
That's Saban country. Saban wouldn't allow that.
they do it.
Alabama.
It's called Alabama.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
SEC also, football is NFL football.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really just the G.
But I think that with the Tampa market, I think that it's going to open up the possibility sooner rather than later, maybe by 2022, that they'll have a team there. I think they'll at least have it in Tampa. They might try to lure Brady's contract. They might lure some money from him and say, do you want to put a team in here?
Once they see that it's successful, once they see that another NBA team, they can keep adding 2 more teams. They're gonna eventually have another team in Seattle. I feel like that's a given. Right? We're gonna see that in our lifetime again. Why not Tampa Bay? Why not? Once they see it works, go forward with it.
This was going to be my final thought, but I'm going to say it now. So, I drove back down to school yesterday. It's a 7-hour drive, 6.5, 7. And the entire time I listened to this guy, Tim Livingston. He just put out a podcast called Whistleblower. Do you guys know, the Tim Donaghy situation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a 10-part series about that whole thing. Pretty cool. The whole story is, cool. However, do you know the ref that was constantly getting dragged in this entire thing? And it wasn't Tim Donaghy. It was Scott Foster. And then at the end, he called out Adam Silver. He's like, you're probably going to be listening to this. Let's get Scott Foster out of the league. That's something, go listen to that if you're interested in, the behind the scenes of basketball and all that stuff with Stern. It's cool. I'm going to be especially paying attention this year to Scott Foster games because they recorded it, 2 months ago. They finished it up. So they were talking about the bubble and how right before the game, and you can go look it up, Scott Foster starts intimidating Chris Paul. And this old white guy has all the power in the world for no reason. The NBA is the only league where you know the referees' names. And that shouldn't be a thing. If you have Tony Brothers and Scott Foster, you're that shouldn't be a thing. How are these guys who are so openly bad at their job and everybody in your business, which is the NBA, hates them, how are they still employed?
Well, there was almost a civil war in the NBA like 3 years ago between the players and the refs.
Fixed.
Yep. It's broken system. Reform. We need reform.
Either way,
something up on the wall.
Start. Anything else we forgot to touch on?
We can finish up NBA by talking about our former backup point guard in Boston, number 4, Nate Robinson.
Oh god.
Had a day last night. I was upset. I was excited. I was wearing my jersey, everything.
Actually, I have a really good analogy for that. It's like if Caden Bodak beat up Jay Lazard. That's what happened.
Sorry, Jay.
That's actually funny.
Literally, it was frustrating, but yeah, the dude was in a sport that wasn't his.
I look like I'm SpongeBob, and I have the suds right now, or the feet are done.
You look like you've been in quarantine the last week and a half.
Nah, I just got back to my room is so cold, like my hand's shaking. Other than that, anything else we need to talk about? Or want to do final thoughts?
I have an electric final thought, so just put that out there.
Lead it off.
All right, electric final thought. I made $70 today gambling. $70.
Hey.
He's in too deep.
One bet, $30 on the Tennessee Titans. Derrick Henry, 3 touchdowns in the day, 200 yards rushing, something like that. $70. I'm feeling really good about myself right now. I feel like Babs right now. I should swim in parlays next week.
Just wait. Gambling is like watching the Patriots games right now. It brings you in, makes you feel all warm and snuggly inside, and then punches you in the nuts.
Was that your first bet?
No, this is my second bet. I'm 2-0.
Start out hot. Somehow the gambling gods pull you in. They're like, all right, let's go. And then here comes student loans going away.
It's gonna rip you out.
You're gonna have like 5 bad beats in a row and never want to do it again. That's how it works.
Probably. You're probably right.
It's like a roller coaster. I've been there. So is Babs. Well, Babs isn't a roller coaster. This is like a straight plane, but it's at the bottom.
What happened to Babs' parlay of the week?
I haven't hit one all season. And I think I'm like 0 for 350. I'm down in the hole big time.
Someone could have made some serious money parlaying all of Babs.
Parlay. That's Tyler's new computer right there.
You know what kills is that it's been so many times where I've been like close, like 9 out of 10. I'll dumb it down to 7 teams, 6 out of 7. I'll dumb it down to 4 teams, 3 out of 4. Like it's just always that one team that's been killing me. It's tough. My final thought. I got to choose my words carefully here because I want to talk about Sarah Fuller and Vanderbilt and how it was amazing to see a woman transfer into the men's world of football. And I think women in football could exist, especially in a position at kicker or a punter or whatever it may be. If you are going to bring a woman in here and be your kicker, don't squib it. They shouldn't. I don't understand that play because you just left her high and dry to get made fun of from the whole entire internet to burn her. And there was a little civil war because some people like, at least she gets to play. But then it's like I saw the hype up. I saw how all excited we are. It's quality. Let's get this going. And then she squibbed it. And then I hear the coaching saying that, well, because of how bad their special teams are in Vanderbilt, they didn't want to get the ball ran back on them. I don't care. I'd rather just see her boom the ball and get ran back on because that's not her fault. That's everybody else's fault. I wanted to see her boom that kick.
I would disagree with you because if they ran back that kick and she got flattened,
she doesn't need to be.
She would have looked like Nate Robinson, and she would have had even more hate on her instead of just squib kicking.
This was her. She kicked the ball. She kicked the squib, and after she kicked it, she ran off the field. She wasn't even on the field at the end of the play. She ran right off.
Covered up the ball.
Well, my question was an intentional squib.
Yes.
They said it was an intentional squib, and I don't buy that. I don't buy that malarkey.
I think it was a cool moment.
Well, Vanderbilt's not good enough to get in range to kick a field goal because they didn't score a point that day.
I just wanted to see her boom the kickoff or just boom the kick in general, and then that's it. Like that's all we needed to see. But I think that because I think women could play baseball. I think that a woman could be a pitcher, could be the catcher, they could be a first baseman. That shit could happen one day in our society. And I want to give it hope, but when you see that it's not going. It just set you back another 20 years for women to get into
teach
sports
your
as a
twins how to kick
professional athlete
before
and
they
men's
can walk.
Fuller, I bet Fuller would have been in had Vanderbilt actually scored that game and scored a touchdown at least. I feel like she would have been in to kick the extra point simply because like we've seen some phenomenal extra points kicked. Like back at USC like 2-3 years ago, we had I don't remember his name. We had the blind kick. Yeah, Jake Long kicked an extra point. That was pretty cool. So we can have blind players. We can have female players. They can kick those field goals.
You say blind players?
Yes.
I feel that's probably not a smart idea.
Why? Visually impaired?
Visually impaired. You can't see. That's why. That's why.
Wes Hogan.
That's why he's a kicker.
Hogan could be a kicker.
Wes Hogan's partially blind. He has one eye. He can see.
He's still technically legally blind, though.
My final thought.
I'm not blindest. If people are gonna make that claim, I'm not blindest.
Shout out to Xander Bogaerts of the Boston Red Sox, who propelled himself today into the running for best hair in baseball, just out of nowhere. Who saw it coming? The Red Sox haven't been on TVs anywhere in the last year and a half, so why not? Xander had a big coming out party and say, "Hey, I've got great hair."
Ooh, Brendan, I heard a great story about baseball. Oh, I got to sit down for this one. So I know somebody. We were just catching up the other day. I haven't seen him in a long time. He's part of the Red Sox organization in some sort of capacity. So he told me the story about Manny Ramirez. And he said that Manny Ramirez was one of the biggest dicks ever. One of the biggest assholes you'd ever meet. And he said that, and it's sad because I grew up on Manny and loved Manny. Loved Manny Ramirez. He told me a story that they were down in Florida for the preseason, spring training.
Yes.
They had the Jimmy Fund. They had these kids with cancer. It was 102 degrees outside. The kids with cancer standing on the third base line after a game. Hot as balls, probably skipping their chemo treatment. And Manny Ramirez refused to come out of the dugout and said, "I'm not going out there. It's too goddamn hot. You're not making me do that." He literally left 10 or 15 kids out there.
Oh, no.
And refused to go out on the field and just went back inside. And they were
Manny being Manny.
And had to grab somebody else from the locker room and be like, "No, you have to come out and see these kids. Like, they've been waiting." And I heard that story, and I was just like, holy shit. He said that his wife wanted Manny out of Boston for so many years because he was just fucking all these different chicks. He also told me a good story about Bronson Arroyo, how he was pulling up to the Red Sox Fenway Park, and his wife was chasing him down the street in another car. And as he pulled in, they said, close the door. And his wife was banging on the fence like, "You motherfucker, you come out here. I can't believe you're cheating on me, this and that." I was just hearing these stories, these awesome stories about all the shit that goes on behind.
Any on Jason Bay?
The media does not want you to know. They don't want you to know these stuff happens.
You got to have him on a show. That's some funny stuff. That's great podcast.
How about one on JD Drew?
Oh, gosh.
I have no JD Drew story.
My final Red Sox thought. I've said it on podcasts before. Every time we bring it up, free agency in baseball sucks. That's a given. The NBA is superior to all sports across the world when it comes to free agency. But I will double down. I will triple down. I will throw the savings on it, put the house on it. George Springer will be a Red Sox player by the end of this offseason. It's going to happen. Jackie Bradley's on his way out. George Springer, UConn alumni, player of the year, World Series champion, asterisk. He is coming to the Red Sox. It's happening.
Okay, before we go, make sure you check out bostonsbig3.com/shop. Check out Hitstick Harris and...
Bring me my money.
That's it.
Time to lose on his.com.
Follow on Twitter.